Explain this photo. It's from 1943 Hungary. Notice anything strange? Here's a closer look. Well, what do you think it is? Explain this photo. It's from a grocery store security camera. Notice anything strange? Here's a closer look. Well, what do you think it is?
Terrifying man who many people have seen in their dreams. In 2006, a New York woman kept getting scared in her dreams by the same man over and over. She told her psychiatrist about it, and he wrote down a sketch of the face of this man. After she left, he put this picture up in his office, and then some of his other patients said they also remember seeing this man in their dreams, and it terrified them. Over 4,000 people have claimed to see him. Have you ever seen him in your dreams? Follow for more fun.
Every paranormal photo out there can be called fake. So deciding whether or not the following photo is real or not is up to you. The Cooper family were sat down for dinner and wanted to take a family photo. However, in the photo, they had an unwanted guest. This photo became the talk of their town in the early 1950s. They don't know who or what this figure was because aside of the photo, there was no proof of this thing being there.
Today we're looking at creepy ghost photos with even creepier stories. Let's get it started. The family that owns this house says that they occasionally see the ghost of a little girl. They hear her footsteps and even see her reflection in the mirror sometimes. When they were sitting in this room, they saw the reflection of her in the black cabinet and they quickly took the photo. When this photographer was passing by the haunted Savannah home of 432 Abercorn Street, the home was abandoned, but they noticed the face of a small child peering through the window. Legend has it that a young girl passed away after her father tied her to a chair and left her to die in this house. When I looked at the picture again, I noticed the face of another person right behind her. This photo was taken in Georgia's historic Worley Bed and Breakfast Inn. This normal looking photo appears to show a man resting on the bed, but when the person who took the photo got it developed, they were shocked because when they took this photo, they were the only one in the room.
Amazing People Who Survived the Impossible Part 3. First we have Truman Duncan. When a human comes in contact with a train while it's in motion, that is usually the last time they are ever seen, but Truman Duncan is as tough as nails. He got hit by a train and lived to tell the tale. He was actually the person who contacted the ambulance so they could come rescue him after he got hit by said train. Now the sad part about this story is he will never walk again as he lost both of his legs. Next we have Carlos Rodriguez. Now I know most of the people watching this video won't need a breakdown of why you should never drink and drive, but if you thought that you could get away with this, let me show you Carlos Rodriguez. This is the guy who was in a brutal car accident when he was only 14 years old. He smashed headfirst into a pole and then went flying through his windshield. When he woke up in the hospital, he was missing half his head. Alright guys, that's all we have for you today. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Hi, Bloody Mary here from the Haunted Museum. Museum tours by day, ghost hunts every single night, and specialty VIP ghost hunts at our Paracons. This is Nick Groff from Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Lockdown, and his new series, Deathwalker. We have a variety of guests who just came in on our April 13th ghost hunt. We had lots of anomalies, lots of EVPs, and he kept getting touched over and over, and you can see the anomalies coming out every time he says he feels a warm hand, a warm touch on his leg. Come on down and get your own experience with Bloody Mary.
Oh, we just found this shit in the middle of the woods, no lie. Creepy as hell. I did not think this doll was going to be haunted because we made fun of it, and a week later my car got crashed into. Camera starts glitching and my dog starts barking out of nowhere.
This is a creepy story I just heard and I want to share it with you. Viewer discretion is advised. A grandmother took this picture of a spirit in her grandchildren's room. It kind of looks like an older grandpa or something because you can see it wearing glasses and bending forward. The grandmother said it started talking to the 2-year-old and keeping her up every night. She usually heard laughing or talking until one night we heard her telling it no and to go away. She said, but it never went away. That's just the creepiest thing ever. I hope they get the help they need, and I hope the spirit goes to the other side. It doesn't seem like a good spirit at all, and it does need to leave the house.
This might look like a normal photo, but it's actually one of the most chilling ghost photos I've ever seen. In 1942, this photo was taken at this couple's wedding with a box camera. The couple is smiling, but somebody else in the picture is not very happy about this day. If you pay close attention to the tree on the right, you'll notice something disturbing. An image of an angered woman in the trees is shown reaching out at the couple. Now this actual photo was passed down through the generations, so there's no way that it could have been photoshopped. When you zoom in again, the image is even more terrifying.
Okay, I'm gonna lock this. It's my bedroom door. I'm gonna lock it. Okay. Now. Wonder if it's gonna do it this time. Probably not. What the fuck?
Watch. You see that? What the f? What the f? Tell me I'm not on f***ing crack, dude. Hell no. What the f? Dude, I'm out of here. Hell no, bro. Oh, what the f?
Okay, so let's talk about the supposed vampires that live in New Orleans. Locals believe that the city is actually home to real living vampires. During the 1930s, brothers John and Wayne Carter were executed for committing multiple murders. About a dozen bodies were found, drained of their blood, after a young woman managed to escape the brothers' apartment. Sightings of these brothers are reported up until this very day because their bodies mysteriously vanished from the funeral vault. Why am I thinking of Stefan and Damon right now? Now fast forward to 1984, where 9 people were found around the French Quarter area, all with their throats ripped out. Paramedics and first responders were dumbfounded because even though the scene was gory, there was no blood. Also, vampire culture is majorly popular in New Orleans, but that must have stemmed from somewhere. The missing persons and crime rate is incredibly high around the French Quarter area. What if this is something more?
So this story doesn't get creepy until after the triple homicide. Daniel LaPlante killed a nursery school teacher and her 2 kids in 1987, and after a massive manhunt was launched, they still couldn't find him. And this is where it gets scary. He was later found in the closet of a girl that he had dated. She opened up the door to find him standing there in her mother's clothes with a face full of makeup. He then tied her and her family up, but the youngest narrowly escaped and alerted the police, and whenever the police arrived, they couldn't find him. The family that he had tied up, who had moved out, came back, and when they arrived, they saw Daniel standing in the window. When the police got there, they soon found out why he was so hard to find. He had been living in the walls the entire time.
Hi, today we're going to go over some normal pictures that will haunt you after you learn the backstory. And as always, trigger warning. This first photo is a photo of a bunch of astronauts doing a pretty typical water exercise and just looking like they're relaxing. God, I wish that was it. These astronauts to the right of me are actually a part of the space crew for Apollo 1. Apollo 1 would later go on to malfunction and blow up, and that shuttle to the left of me is the same shuttle that these astronauts would die in. For this next one, we have a seemingly normal photo of a man underwater while he's scuba diving, and what looks like to be his homie in the back swimming away. But we all know the picture would not be in this video if that was the case. You see, the man in the front got a good picture, but unbeknownst to him, his friend in the background who looks like he's swimming away actually just lost consciousness, and he would later die.
Today we're looking at some creepy ghost photos with even creepier stories. Let's get it started. This photo was taken in the 1930s at a family reunion. It appears to show a female spirit nestled in the middle of the group. Years later, family members have claimed to see the spirit in the 60s and 70s, often standing beside them or at the end of their beds. She's seen here wearing a fitted white dress and a brooch around her waist. In 1984, a teenager was a victim of a fatal car crash. This photograph was taken shortly after the incident by local police. When the pictures were developed, police were shocked by what they saw in one of the frames. Clearly visible above the open driver's side door, you can see a head and shoulders. The face is contorted with a screaming open mouth. The creepiest part is that's actually the boy who died that night. This picture was taken in 1977 and it appears to show a woman in white walking past a house. The person who took the photo was shocked when he saw this on film because nobody was present besides the workman you see at the back when the photo was taken. Today we're looking at some extremely creepy photos with even creepier stories, part 4. Let's get it started. Oh my goodness, this photo was taken by a nurse on a surveillance camera at an unknown hospital. The image shows a dark crouching figure standing upon a patient's body as they're lying on the bed. After a few moments, the figure vanished and a few hours later the patient died. A man suffering from sleep paralysis said that every night a toddler with part of his head missing would haunt him in his sleep. One night the toddler got off the couch and started walking towards him. Fearing that nobody would believe him, he grabbed his phone and took a bunch of photos. Assuming that it was a dream, he woke up the next day to look at his phone and this is one of the pictures that he saw. This is the last photo taken of this couple on Valentine's Day in 1971. When they failed to return home, the police were immediately called. Days later, their bodies were found in the woods. With their hands tied behind their back, they were tortured to death side by side.